calling for power devolution and regional government, where every region is grouped according to their ethnic, linguistic identity. Hear me out. I'm talking to the Yoruba people. It's not everybody that wants regional government. It's not everybody that wants true federalism. So this is why I'm personalizing it to the Yorubas. Yes, not all want it. Some want a state indigenous bill where they will be able to call other people's territory no man's land, backed by the system. Just like we have seen
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video, a very message has been sent straight to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it is coming from deep within Yoruba land. Yoruba elders and advocates are saying enough is enough. They want full regional autonomy, self-governance and total power devolution, not this central control that is choking the system. But here is where it gets even more serious. One bold voice is warning that Yoruba land is under quiet invasion, not with guns, but with policies and settlement strategies. He says some settlers are disguising their intentions, gradually turning Yoruba territory into no man's land, while trying to erase native identity. He didn't stop there. He declared that Yoruba land is the heartbeat of Nigeria, blessed with rivers, oceans and highlands, and that is why it is constantly targeted by those who see its riches and want to dominate it. Is this the beginning of a new demand for true federalism, or is something deeper going on? Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
The interest of Yoruba people now in this present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not be anything other than calling for power devolution and regional government, where every region is grouped according to their ethnic, linguistic identity. Hear me out. I'm talking to the Yoruba people. It's not everybody that wants regional government. It's not everybody that wants true federalism. So this is why I'm personalizing it to the Yorubas. Yes, not all want it. Some want a state indigenous bill where they will be able to call other people's territory no man's land, backed by the system. Just like we have seen Benjamin Kalu proposing. Some are pushing for settler colonization, and don't be surprised because Olodumare has already blessed Yoruba land. Yoruba land is the heartbeat of Nigeria. We have the ocean, we have the river, we have the highland. Nature has already blessed Yoruba land. That is why people will always desire to settle here. That is why we are the pace setter and heartbeat of this nation. But you must be wary of settlers who are colonists. Why? Because Yoruba land is rich, and the settler does not colonize a barren land. No! The colonization of Britannia by the Romans, Anglo-Saxons, and Vikings was due to its beauty as an highland. That area you now call Istanbul suffered in history because of its beauty, because of its naturalness. Humans will always want to settle and colonize a beautiful atmospheric environment and land where they can see serenity, nature, and sea. That is why Yoruba land must be protected from any form of settler colonialism. That is why Lagos must be protected from any form of settler colonialism, because there is only one Lagos in Africa. The only state with English and Yoruba name. A very small island desired by all, because it is human nature to desire good things. But it is you, the indigenous, who must reject any form of settler colonialism so that you will not lose your land through it. You see, the crazy part is that once the real indigenous lose their land, the new occupier will do everything they have to protect it and make it survive. Yes, that is how it has always happened in history. Go and fact check. That island, which we call the British Isles today, was first occupied by the Celts. It belongs to the Celts. The Germanic Anglo-Saxon tribe came, fought them, displaced them, and took the majority of their land and settled on it. When Vikings later discovered the island and wanted to take it from the Germanic Saxon tribe, who had now settled the land and ruled England after they have driven the Celts to the deep forest of Britannia, guess what? The Anglo-Saxons made sure they did what they could to protect it from the Vikings. The Vikings' raid on them were something obvious, that they had only one intention: to exterminate the whole of Anglo-Saxon and take possession of their highland. But the Anglo-Saxon protected it with their last kingdom. They did what they could to survive. They did everything to protect England because they know how they had settled there and displaced the real indigenous people who are the Celts, now in present-day Scotland, from that land. Once indigenous people lose their land, trust me, you can never have it again. And history will always help you to do the documentation. Look at what Trump is doing. Look at it. This is a land we all know they are not the real indigenous because it belongs to the native Indian. But because they know what they did to settle that land, they will do everything to also protect it. When your land is rich, you must always be wary of settler colonists. You must be. Settler does not colonize barren land. You see, this is not the era of medieval times when the only means settler could colonize land was through war, violence, displacement, or chaos. This is 21st century. Manipulation, gaslighting, tribal occupation of your politics and economic sector is the fastest method settler colonies now using in 21st century. Once your land has been referred to as no man's land, it is a form of settler colonialism. Once they are desperate to buy your land legally and illegally, it's a form of settler colonialism. The same desperation to colonize your land is why they are ready to buy any illegal land, illegal properties, as long as it is in Lagos. When the law now catches up with them, they will start playing devil's advocates, looking for social media sympathy, as if they don't know what they bought, as if they are not aware of it. Some will even tell you all land belongs to God, as if it was not the same God who put indigenous people in charge of it. Be wary. It's all form of settler colonialism. Nigeria is a country where every region, ethnic and tribe have their own interest. The interest of Yoruba people is self-governance and regional autonomous. Yes, now it's to call for regional autonomy as a way to protect our land from settler colonists who see it as nothing but no man's land. Yes, because our rich cultural heritage, fertile soil and vast resources in Yoruba land has always been a magnet for those seeking to exploit its bounty. But you must not let history repeat itself. How Yoruba lost Ilori must always be a historical reference to all Yoruba Omoluabi for them to be wary of settler colonialism. We must protect our land, our culture and our future by demanding true autonomy and self-determination for the Yoruba people. Regional autonomy is not just a matter of politics, it is a matter of survival. Let us stand united and assert for our right to our land and our future.
Now, instead of secession, there is another pathway that can ultimately lead us to freedom. That is if we demand for it intelligently. And that pathway is regional autonomy, a political situation where each region will have the constitutional right to manage their own affairs. We once tried it in the 50s, it worked. Nationalism once worked in the 50s, before the military boys of 1966 came to abolish that system. We can still try the same thing today. We have done our own feasibility studies, and we can confidently tell you that the most realistic thing that can be achieved now is regional autonomy. We can push for it through protests and rallies. We can push for it through political participation. We can push for it through advocacy. The bottom line is this: our struggle as Yoruba people should be that we want to break free from the centralized failure of one Nigeria. One Nigeria is too over-centralized. That alone is inimical to our progress, is inimical to our development as a people. The key that we must be looking forward to is regional autonomy, and that can go a longer way to set the path of freedom for us as a people. In fact, without autonomy itself, the Yoruba people cannot survive. We cannot thrive as a people. We cannot develop. We cannot evolve. We need autonomy to survive. Even from our history, before the colonialists, before they came to our land, before they came to Yoruba land, the Yoruba people have been operating an independent city-state. That is, they had their own kings. They had a well-structured political system. But when the colonialists, when they came into our land, they disorganized everything. They imposed a centralized system on our people. And this centralized system clashed with the Yoruba political system. And ever since then, we've been having a lot of problems. We have been having a lot of issues in our land. And this same system sowed the seed of political tension in our land. It sowed the seed of inglorious productivity in our land. And this continued for a very long time, even until post-independence. And here we are today. We are trapped. We are trapped in the same system. The same system that cannot serve us as a people. The same system that leaves us struggling for everything in our life. The Yoruba people wake up every day of their life chasing for survival. We struggle for healthcare. We struggle for education. We struggle for food. We struggle for common electricity. We struggle for everything in our land just because we are practicing a centralized system. We struggle for everything. And these are common basic rights that we should be entitled to, not privileges. These are basic rights that we should enjoy as citizens. Yoruba people, we are too blessed. We are too intelligent. We are too creative to live our life on dependency. We are too blessed for that. And for those people trying to shut us down because we are advocating for autonomy, at least if they can't give us Yoruba nation, let them give us some measure of autonomy in our land. Let us control some things by ourselves. Only then can we develop. Only then can development come to our land. Until that, we will just be wasting our time fighting for Yoruba nation. When will Yoruba nation be achieved? Do we have the structure? Do we have what mechanism? Do we have a standing army? I pity us. I pity us. I pray may the Olodumare, may God Almighty, fortify us. Make all our dreams, everything that we have been aspiring for about our land to come to pass. I am not against Yoruba nation. I'm not. But if they can't give that to us, let them give us regional autonomy. With that, we are good to go.
Mr. Chairman, sir, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great honor for me to be here today. The whole essence of coming together is to have a conversation, is to meet, is to deliberate upon all the ills, the myriad problems that have been plaguing our country for so long. We may yet find the answers here, and we may still have to look further, but answers must surely come at a time. Maybe it is time to say enough is enough. From the year 1922, we've been having constitution. We had a Clifford in 1922. The lexicon then was not even about a Nigerian, it was about an African. So they said there was no African involved in that exercise. They just gave to us what they thought would be useful, but it wasn't. It was unitary, it wasn't reflecting anything. But then people woke up to certain responsibilities after the First World War, Second World War, an education that came, agitation came, the Nigerian youth movement and every other thing. And then that statement that Nigeria is a mere geographical expression that came in a book form in 1947. Before then was the 1946 Richard's Constitution, which didn't quite give us even that upon which we express ourselves. There were riots and the rest of them. Mr. Richards was taken away. Mr. McPherson was brought in. Yet he gave us something which is just a slight improvement. He didn't define the Nigerian the way we would want to describe and define a Welsh or an Englishman or a Scottish man. So the idea came that we should even experiment on a government in 1951. Still, the true federal nature of Nigeria was yet to emerge. Finally, there was the London Conference of 1953, and then the emergence of the Littleton Constitution of 1954, which defined the very first federal constitution. But one thing I want to say is this. From 1946 to 1959, we had the Richard, the McPherson, the Littleton. We had four constitutions. Why didn't they decide that they were going to patch up the 1946 constitution? Why didn't they work on the 1951 constitution? constitution? Why did we have to have a new one in 54? And then we still had an independence constitution. So we're talking about 5 constitutions in a span of 9 years. It is because there was a need to do so. It is the belief of us of the Southwest that the 1999 Constitution is beyond repair. We cannot, in all honesty, look at the United States of America with a constitution that is almost 250 years old, and they've only been able to have a few amendments. Everybody knows of the 5th. Somebody claims the 5th because he does not want to incriminate himself. But how many of such amendments have been done in 250 years? Are they even up to 20? If we have to look at our constitution and begin to do a surgical thing, just like my dear Egbon, the former governor of Ogun State, and the rest of our representatives are hell-bent on doing some kind of patch-up, I wonder how long it will take to have that constitution remodeled to become a people's constitution. So our advocacy from the Southwest is that the difference between doing what is right and what is best are just in the finer details of enumerating the facts and the truth. And in this case, we must have a people-oriented constitution. The 1979 Constitution was condemned by Chief Obafemi Awolowo for one single reason, perhaps many others, but one notable reason, because there were restrictions. You don't restrict what the people want. You subject it to a lot of debates and a lot of tests. At the end of the day, what we had was the influence of the military. And if anybody had expected the military in 1966 to have come up with a system of governance that is going to resemble what we had before the coup, perhaps the person will need to study what happens in the military. My forever leader, and I've been to his place around Ikwizikwato, General Ikewachukwu is here. There's this idea of order, which you follow in the military. You cannot expect a lieutenant colonel who is a governor to be so independent of his boss, who is not a governor, but is his senior. You cannot have the governor of Western region or Western state or Eastern state being so autonomous of the supreme commander. It's not going to happen. That's not the way the military works. So what the military did in 66 was not so much as people saying somebody came and took away federalism. Military came and they only could do how they manage the military. And it didn't matter that it was in a civilian situation. So what we had in 79 was still part of that military culture. It was at best Obasanjo Constitution. Same thing happened in 1988 when there was a Constituent Assembly here in Abuja, and we produced the Babangida Constitution of 89. Same thing with the Abdulsalami Constitution, which in many ways is some kind of illegality. Elections were held for a constitution that had not been promulgated into law. That's an aberration. But we still went ahead and saw a precedent on that constitution that had not been promulgated. Now, it's all military. But before this, there was a 1963 constitution, which is very much like what we're doing here. There was no Constituent Assembly. It was the conglomerate of wise men from those regions of those days who sat down together and had the very first Republican Constitution for Nigeria, homegrown. No Clifford, no Richards, no Littleton, the Republican Constitution of Nigeria. That was the very first People's Constitution. We had something close to that in 2014, and Providence didn't allow that to stand. Now we have yet another opportunity of an homegrown solution to all our problems. Our prayers in the Southwest is that may this exercise give us the required constitution to steer Nigeria forward and steer us away from a certain destruction. If ever there's going to be a prayer, if anybody is ever going to believe in the power of prayers, it is now, so that this effort will not just go against the powers that and principalities that we need to appease one way or the other. The people will have the right to say this is how we want to be governed. I have prepared a slide, it's showing there, but I decided I'm not going to follow that. We prepared a 90-page document, which will take a longer period to even begin to talk about point for point. I felt the best thing we could do is appeal to our sense of belonging, of wanting to rectify a situation and not make the kind of speeches out of written words. Those who would distill all that the zones are prepared will do a good job to that which has brought us here. When I was made the chair, I said to myself, it's an opportunity to practice my indoctrination and my conviction and to bring everything to fore in a way that it will be politically agnostic. This is not about the right or the left or the center. It's about the people of the Southwest, about the people of Nigeria. It didn't matter what anybody's interest would be. It's about the people. So we gathered a good team. I'm privileged to have worked with the likes of Dr. Aderebi Desalu. I'm privileged to have worked with Mr. Kayode Samuel. I'm privileged to have worked with Reverend Canon Architect Gokeomi Podu. I'm privileged to have worked with Byron, Adegberu Byron, Eyitemi Taire, Funke Awolowo, and a host of others gave all their time. We had a town hall meeting that included the likes of AIG Alapini, former Deputy Governor Gbenga Kaka, Ni Akintola San, and about 14 Yoruba groups and eminent personalities that joined us. And the document we have produced will still not be so much of something new, and I will explain. Right from 1953, the people of the Southwest have had this rare opportunity of having documented interest and profound leanings of the people of the Southwest. So we leaned on that. In 1991, the late Alao Akabashorun, who was calling for a national conference at that time, had even gone to Benin Republic to organize one. So we had a document from 1991. We had such a document repackaged for the 2014 confab. And yet again, when we had the Ibadan Declaration of 2017, which was organized by the Afenifere, but then Afenifere brought in 42 other Southwest groups. I was made the publicity secretary. So we went to Adamasingba, and then we still produced yet another document. What we have done is to improve all of this, did our consultation with all the socio-political leaders. At that meeting, like I said, we had Yoruba Council of Elders, we had Yoruba Elders Council, we had Afenifere, we had everybody to give us their input. So what we have presented is legitimate, I can assure you of that. What we have submitted to the patrons is legitimate. The one thing that we need to look at seriously is what came up in 1953, and that is the very serious matter of those we call minorities. Those who would flash back will know that there was a word coined, well, by Chief Obafemi called COR, Cross Rivers, Ogoja Rivers, ever before there was anything like that. And then the Middle Belt people. But then we must now inject what is called homogeneity. Those who believe that they have kinship, affiliation, fealty to certain other parts and are minorities in wherever they are, and according to the Willings Commission, which was bequeathed to us by the British in 1957 to take care of the issues relating to minorities. We've included that as well. So for all of those in Okun, in Kwara, in Akoko Edo, Warri, and anywhere else contiguous to the Southwest, who feel that they want to be part of the greater, larger Southwest, well, why not subject it to a referendum? There were quite a number of people there yesterday, perhaps here today, if not for the referendum of 19... Prof, please remind me, Prof. Ezekome, when was it? The Northern Cameroon's referendum. If not for that, they would not be part of Nigeria. So if we have to subject this Willings Commission thing that the British didn't quite fully execute before they left, let's do it now. Let's have that homogeneity so that we can reduce friction, we can reduce tension. Another thing we added to what has been existing is the idea of fiscal as well as physical restructuring. And I will explain. We have one single tier of policing in Nigeria. It is never enough. I had this very untoward experience of one of the Obas having been kidnapped, and we left in the dead of the night. We arrived at dawn, only to find 2 policemen in this community of over 10,000 people, and these policemen don't even carry guns. So we need policing at the community level, we need policing at the city level, we need policing at the state level, and perhaps we now come to that which the people of the Southwest are saying we must have again, regions. We say no to statism. Statism is all about those who want to go from wherever they are to Abuja, bowl in hand, to go and collect allocation. We don't want that. People should be able to learn how to work. We must bring back what is called competition. Yesterday, I saw Professor Pat Tomi, and I said to him, Ibadan boy, we meet again. He was at Loyola. I was at Ibadan Grammar School, older than I, but we always meet on the football field. Ibadan Grammar School always beat Loyola until they went and brought one Dukula. Then we almost played a draw, but then we still beat them. But that is competition. And we had a lot of memories. There was the time Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who had started the first television in Africa. And naturally, it was the first in Africa. We didn't have to say so. But Chief Michael Opara, ever alive to responsibilities, 3 months later, started and finished the Eastern Nigerian television. And of course, who can remember how that television station went in terms of advertisement, the way he advertised? He said, Eastern Nigerian television, second to none. I like that. It was healthy competition. So why have we jettisoned competition? We should have everybody producing just like we used to produce. The human capital, the human resources we have are in abundance. We have, even apart from DRC, Nigeria being the most, the country in Africa that has the most natural resources occurring freely. In all of this, I will just round up by saying that what we determine to be self-determination within a nation, not to live, but to be part of it, to make it greater by making the people to realize their full potential.
So guys, we have come to the end of this powerful conversation. But the truth is, this is not just about politics. It is about our identity, our future, and the kind of Nigeria we want to leave behind for the next generation. The call for regional autonomy and true federalism is not just noise. It is a cry for fairness, inclusion, and survival. The Yoruba people are not asking for war. They are asking for what is right, the freedom to govern their land, control their own resources, and preserve their culture without being forced into a one-size-fits-all system that has clearly failed. Now, more than ever, every Nigerian needs to ask the hard questions. What kind of system are we in? Who really benefits from the current structure? And why is it so hard to restructure a country of over 200 million people? If we don't speak now, when will we? If we keep pretending all is well, how much longer before the cracks become an explosion? Let's not leave this discussion to politicians and Yoruba alone. The future belongs to the people. Use the comment section. Let your voice be heard. Do you agree with the call for regional autonomy? Do you believe devolution of power is the way forward? Let's build the conversation together. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Let the message travel beyond borders. Nigeria can still work, but not like this. We must restructure or risk collapse, and the time to act is now. Thanks for watching, my people. Stay woke, stay vocal, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep the conversation going below.